let's do a word problem. We're going to complete the square with a real world problem. So the relationship between the time since the ball was thrown and the height of the ball can be modeled by the equation h equals 32t minus 16 squared plus 4, where h is the height of the ball after t seconds. So I think it's really important that we look at what the variables mean. H is the height and t is time. So it says complete the square to find out how long it will take the ball to reach a height of 20 feet. So whenever I'm reading a problem that has variables in it, I try to translate what it's asking me to do into the math part. So it's saying complete the square to find how long. So it wants me to find time. So it wants me to find what is t equal to. And how long will it take the ball to reach a height of 20 feet? So they want me to find the t value when the height equals 20. So in other words, they want me to substitute in 20 for h and find t. So let's do that and see what we have. So if I substitute in 20 for h, I'll have 20 equals 32t minus 16t squared plus 4. Now, I like to have the squared part first, so I'm just going to rewrite it, bringing that negative 16t squared first. So 20 equals negative 16t squared plus 32t plus 4t. Okay, it tells me to complete the square, so I'm going to do that. So in order to do that, I'm going to subtract the 4 on both sides from the like terms. 20 minus 4 is 16, so 16 equals negative 16t squared plus 32t. So my first step, where I have ax squared plus bx equals c, is done. My second step with completing the square, let me scroll up. Make sure that a is equal to 1. If not, I need to factor it out. So a right here is negative 16. It's not equal to 1, so I'm going to factor it out. So now I have 16 equals negative 16. I'm factoring that out. T squared. 32 divided by negative 16 is negative 2t. So then I'm going to find the number that I add to both sides. So on the right, if I take negative 2 divided by 2 and square it, I'll get negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1, and negative 1 squared is 1. So on the right side, my equation looks like negative 16 times t squared minus 2t plus 1. And then I'll bring down this 16 right there. Okay, but on the left side, I need to figure out what I'm adding. Well, if I add a positive 1, I'm really, if you distribute the negative 16 times positive 1, I'm really adding a negative 16. So on the left side, I need to add negative 16. So if a does not equal 1, factor it out. But be careful when deciding which number to add to both sides of the equation. Or let's just say, be careful to keep your equation balanced when adding to both sides. Adding to both sides. So now I'm going to take what I have over here. I'm going to say, let's see, 16 minus 16 is 0 equals negative 16 times t squared minus 2t plus 1. Then I can factor. Negative 16 equals t minus 1 times t minus 1. Let's see, we're supposed to solve by taking square roots. I could solve by factoring, but let's just we're working on square roots today, so let's do that. So 0 equals negative 16 times t minus 1 squared. I need to isolate the perfect square, so I can divide both sides by negative 16. 0 divided by anything is still 0. 0 equals t minus 1 squared. When I take the square root of both sides, don't forget your plus or minus, I'll have plus or minus 0 equals t minus 1. Now, plus or minus 0, 0 is neither positive nor negative, it's just 0. So that's going to bring me to the equation 0 equals t minus 1. Add 1 to both sides, t equals 1. And the unit for time is seconds. 1 second. So how long will it take the ball to reach a height of 20 feet? It will take 1 second for the ball to reach 20 feet. Then on example 5, we are asked to write the equation in vertex form. So this is how I would convert from, this is how I would convert from standard form into vertex form. And we can do that by completing the square. So let's look at 5a. It says write each equation in vertex form. Then we're going to identify the maximum or minimum and value and graph each equation. Okay, so let's do example B, because example A's got a lot of fractions in it. It's the same, we work it out the same way, it's just B's a lot prettier. Okay, so I'm going to work out B. I'm going to write the C on the other side, which means I'm going to subtract 9 on both sides, so that I have y minus 9 equals 2x squared plus 12x. Now, does a equal 1? No, it does not. So I'm going to factor out the a value. Y minus 9 equals 2 times x, I forgot the x, 2 times x squared plus 6x. Then I need to figure out what number I'm going to add to both sides. So I'm going to add this b, 6, divided by 2, squared right there. Then I'll come back and add a different number on the left side. So 2 times x squared plus 6x. Let's figure out what number we're adding. Let's see. 6x, or 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9, so plus 9. On the right side. On the left side, I still have the y minus 9. I'm bringing it down. But then I need to add a number. Well, if I take 2 and I multiply it by 9, I get 18. So on the right side, I'm adding 18. On the left side, it looks like I'm adding 9, but it's really 18 because the 9 gets distributed with the 2. So then I'll simplify everything. Let's see. 18 minus 9 is 9. So on the left side, I have y minus 9. Y minus 9? No, 18 minus 9 is positive 9. Y plus 9 equals 2. I can factor x squared plus 6x plus 9 into x plus 3 times x plus 3, which is the same as y plus 9 equals 2 times x plus 3 squared. Now, what are we trying to do again? We're trying to write the equation in vertex form. And vertex form is y equals a x minus h squared plus k. So I'm almost there. I have the plus 9 on the left side. I need it on the right side. So I'll subtract 9 on both sides. So y equals 2 times x plus 3 squared, then minus 9. So this is my vertex form. Check. Write the equation in vertex form. Did it. Second part, identify the maximum or the minimum. Well, I have to think about this graph. A value is positive, so that means it opens up. The minimum is that means this graph will have a minimum value. The minimum is the y value of the vertex. So my minimum is right there, -9. Then it says, oh, that's it of the graph of the equation. Yeah, that's it. Our last problem, a pelican swoops down under the surface of the ocean to catch a fish. An equation that describes the pelican's path is y equals 4x squared minus 16x plus 15. The pelican catches the fish at the deepest point of the dive. How deep was the fish swimming? So we need a picture. Now, Ms. Honeycutt thought about drawing this picture, but I had to pause and get some clip art from the internet for a minute because I can't draw pelicans and fish very well. Okay, so it says a pelican swoops down under the surface of the ocean. So that makes me think the pelican was on the surface, maybe swimming, and then they're going to swoop down. Or maybe this equation is only describing that part. So what's going to happen is the pelicans, we're going to say that they're at the surface level. It's going to swoop down. Going to catch the fish, and then he's going to come back up. Oh, look, it's a parabola. That's why we have a quadratic equation. At the deepest point of the dive, boom. The pelican catches the fish at the deepest point of the dive. How deep was the fish swimming? So they want to know this distance right here. How deep is that? Well, if I knew the coordinates of the vertex, then I could figure out the minimum value. And that would let me know how deep the fish was. So let's find the minimum, which means, let's see, if we just found the minimum in the last problem with completing the square by changing it to vertex form, let's do that here. So I'm going to subtract the 15 on both sides. I'll have y minus 15 equals 4x squared plus 16x. Then I can just, not subtract, I can factor out that 4 because a is not equal to 1. 4x squared plus 4x, y minus 15. Then I have to figure out what number I'm adding to both sides. I'm going to take the b term divided by 2, then square it. So that's going to be 4 times x plus x squared plus 4x. And then let's see, when I take 4 and divide it by 2, I get 2. 2 squared is 4. But on the right side, whenever I write my answer, y minus 15, or not my answer, when I write the left side of the equation, instead of adding plus 4, 4 times 4 is really 16. So if I simplify the left side, y plus 1 equals 4. I can go ahead and factor this into x plus 2 squared. Subtract the 1 on both sides. Y equals 4 times x plus 2 squared minus 1. So remember that minimum is that last number. So the vertex is -2, -1. That means the minimum is -1. And does it tell me units? No. So all I can say is the fish was 1 unit under the water. I would say -1 unit under the water because that would be like saying 2 double negatives and you're canceling it out. But the negative is signifying that the fish is under the water. So the fish was 1 unit under the water.